Well, the old saying says you got to spend money to make money. Well, in college football, you got to spend money to win games. We got Jason Priester on the line from allclemsontigers.com. Now I'd like to show you some numbers we talked about just a few minutes ago. So we've got recruiting spending's been released. This has been posted by On3. So the first reaction people would have was, well, of course, Clemson's spending the second most money on recruiting, so they should be winning a national championship. They should be number two. Well, there's obviously a lot that goes into these numbers, and we don't know all those things, but we can certainly speculate. So where do you think we're headed with these numbers in regards to the Clemson standing at number two in the nation behind Georgia?
Clemson has routinely been in the top five when it comes to recruiting budgets and what they spend on recruiting. It was a little bit surprising to see them at number two. They had been about, I want to say, in the $2.2, $2.3 million range there for the last couple of years, and it went up $1 million here over this last fiscal year. That did catch me a little off guard. I wasn't expecting it to be that high. But if you sit down and think about it, maybe they did a little bit more traveling at the end of that 2022 cycle, which is, if you factor in a fiscal year, it's going to stretch across two classes. And when Brent Venables left, they were trying to keep that class intact and did have some decommitments, had to go back out on the road, probably a little bit more than they otherwise would have. I'm sure that affected things a little bit. But Clemson's always going to be a team that invests in its program. They are always going to be big spenders when it comes to recruiting. That's the way it's been, ever since they kind of crashed through that glass ceiling in 2015 when they went to their first playoff. And I don't expect that to change, despite the fact that they are not making the money that SEC teams or Big Ten teams are making. We'll see what happens when the new television deals kick in. When Clemson's not getting one anytime in the foreseeable future unless they jump ship. But, if over the next 2-3 years, I would expect them to stay in that top five range.
Rutgers at number 11 and Arizona at 15 obviously jump out. If I'm the athletic director, or maybe higher than that, I'd be going to the athletic director saying, what's going on here? We're winning 2 or 3 ball games a year. But I'm sure there's more to it than that. And Jed Fish is actually doing a nice job at Arizona. He lifted them from 1 win to 5, and he's got that program on the rise. But that's just funny for those to stand out, because I jumped on this because I saw somebody release the Big Ten rankings the other day, and Ohio State was buried at like 6, and you saw Rutgers at 2, and it was just a kind of a shock. You just assume Ohio State spends more than anybody in that conference. You just assume that the teams that win the games and have the best recruiting classes are spending the most money. But there are other factors involved that are either they're not doing as good a job with the money that they spend, or there's other factors involved that are legitimate, that they just have to spend more money for whatever reasons, or something happening that particular fiscal year to cause that. So, but it's pretty much lined up with the powers in college football for sure. All right, Jason Priester here. Catch his baseball work there at allclemsontigers.com. And of course, anything happens on the football front, then we'll reel Jason back in here, but catch his work there each and every day. Jason, appreciate you stopping by.
Always love catching up with you, man. Appreciate it.